We're going in the cubicle in this hour of the show where we speak all things workplace related. You know, there used to be a time if you had a stress, if you were suffering from depression or even burnout in the workplace, that was just your problem, right? It was like, yeah, here we're here to work. Everybody is here to work. And if you have problems, maybe that's your issues from home. You can go take leave and then come back because that's all about you. But increasingly, industry leaders are viewing mental health not as an individual concern, but also as an organizational imperative. In fact, health and security services firm International SOS Risk Outlook 2025 report has revealed that 80% of risk management experts now recognize stress and burnout as material threats to both people and business performance. And that's what we're speaking about in this hour of the show. International SOS says that the integration of mental and emotional health with physical wellness, chronic disease management, and preventative care represents the future of organizational resilience. We're finding out a little bit more about this with Dr. Isaac Akonko, Medical Director of Central African at International SOS. Thank you so much, Dr. Akonko, for your time this morning. Good morning.
Hi, good morning, Vanessa, and good morning to your distinguished listeners.
Thank you so much for speaking to us. It's Palesa, by the way, not Vanessa.
Oh, Palesa.
Yes,
Apologies.
no problems. Well, let's go into the conversation. There was a time, in fact, it seems like this is only building up now that mental health is being taken, seriously in organizational structures. But it wasn't always so, wasn't it?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, across Africa, we actually facing a silent crisis. Uh, and mental health, it's a foundation of every aspect of our well-being and productivity. And unfortunately, it still remains an area that is under-resourced in many countries. And that is why we at International SOS believe that protecting mental health is not just a moral responsibility, but also it's a strategic necessity for resilience of organizations and the thriving of the communities.
Well, let's look at this Risk Outlook 2025 report. Give us a brief overview of what it says about mental health in the organizations.
So there's growing, the global risk outlook that International SOS usually conducts over the years, it's usually a survey among our clients and companies that we have contact with. And it tends to understand the perception of how employees value and implement risk and mitigations on health, well-being, and security. Out of that outlook, we notice that, and it's also relates to what we've seen in other research, that mental health is becoming an increasing concern in the landscape of Africa. Depression, anxiety, substance abuse has been pretty much of a concern, and rightly so, translated into workplace activities. It's no more an individual problem, but a business concern. And one of the most concerning and trends that we've noticed worldwide, if you look at the 10 top causes of suicide, 6 out of the 10 countries sits in sub-Saharan Africa. Wow. And this is a staggering concern in terms of the distress of within our communities. And again, about just 1% of healthcare budget is allocated to mental health. This is a concern, but the good news is that there is growing awareness. There are several corporate institutions that are beginning to prioritize well-being and mental health, as well as several governments.
I mean, that's an interesting stat that you highlighted there. And someone would say to that, like, why should we care about well-being? We are not in the business of well-being. We are in the business of making money. I think that's the rationalization in some companies. Does the report look into that? And how is that culture changing, as you've alluded to?
Yeah, that's a very good question. So if you look at well-being, In the past, most organizations have had or have health and safety frameworks. And most of these frameworks looked at more of the physical preventative of injuries and illness. But you cannot dissociate that from the mental well-being of the workforce. So it is imperative that we need to incorporate that in. Now, most companies, productivity is usually quite a challenge if you haven't high levels of absenteeism, presenteeism. You have safety incidents because people are not mentally in a good frame of mind. And all these factors are leading to reduction in productivity. People are leaving jobs, changing jobs because of mental workplace stress and burnouts. So your turnover goes up and you have to employ and retrain, and all this is a cost burden. So business continuity for most organizations is at a threat. And that is why mental health is no longer a personal matter. It's actually a business issue.
And it's tricky when it comes to understanding that mental wellness is something that even your employee doesn't even understand what they're going through at the time. It's usually very much also internalized so much that it's hard to diagnose if you don't get the right professionals at hand to make that diagnosis. Does that report look into that, into diagnosis and making sure that, even if there is diagnosis, there's not even stigmas around that person?
Yes, so even before we get into diagnosis, you usually would want to even prevent getting people into the state of mental instability, where you now have to now trying to put band-aids to try to fix the issues. So we very much stress on how companies can prevent and create awareness and make sure that there is the right information and take away disinformation and misinformation. So some of the frameworks that we look at and we encourage is leadership commitment. It has to be visible in terms of mental health in a corporate safety culture. This is very key. Mental health support should be involved in the employee's entire life cycle at workplace, from recruitment to various periodic checks all the way through to retirement. And how do you implement such programs? Risk assessment that we usually do at workplace should also have psychological risk assessments in terms of workplace hazards and mitigation measures. Even making accessible for employees to have access to mental health support, be it an employee assistance program, which is usually anonymous, to give employees that confidence to be able to reach out for that first aid support. It could be virtual, it could be a physical one-on-one. And one of the other integral parts that can also make a difference is to train line managers, supervisors, to be able to recognize early signs and distresses among their subordinates, and then recommend or institute measures timely. One of the other aspects that we encourage companies to do is to make sure that you periodically engage in just a general well-being survey, just to have a feedback of the general state of your workforce.
Okay, Dr. Agongo, we need to take a quick break. Sorry to cut you off there in your train of thought, but we'll come back and continue this conversation after the break. We're speaking to Dr. Isaac Agongo, Medical Director of Central Africa at International SOS, unpacking some of the findings of their Risk Outlook 2025 report that reveals that risk management experts now recognize stress and burnout as material threats to both people and business performance.
Download the SABC app and take Channel Africa with you everywhere you go.
Ukatili wa kijinsia unaharibu maisha na kutenga jamii. Hutokea nyumbani, shuleni, kazini na mara nyingi kwa lakini hauwezi kuendelea. Ukiona, ongea. Ikiwa unaumia, funguka, kwa sababu kutofanya lolote sio chaguo. Sikiliza vituo vyote 19 vya redio kuanzia Jumatano ya tarehe 23 Julai kwenye mijadala, ushauri, tamthilia, maonyesho ya elimu na mahojiano na wataalamu, manusura, watunga sheria na nchi nzima iliyoathirika na ukatili wa kijinsia kwenye vituo vyako pendwa vya redio. Piga simu 0800 428 428 ili kuripoti unyanyasaji au kupata msaada. GBV ikomeshwe na wewe. Ujumbe huu umeletwa kwenu na shirika la
On the Move, weekdays, 9 a.m. to midday. Only on Channel Africa. #On the Move.
Hey, this is our In The Cubicle feature where we look at navigating work-life balance. At times, we just go to work to survive, really. And we're trying to change that culture in this feature and say, you're not just going there to survive. You're going to thrive and be the best person that you can be. And today we're having a conversation with International SOS as they speak about their Risk Outlook 2025 report, which revealed that 80% of risk management experts now recognize stress and burnout as material threats to both people and business performance. We're speaking to Dr. Isaac Akonko, who's a medical director of Central Africa at International SOS. This is remarkable that we are seeing these recommendations and experts are now saying, hey, look, this is such a serious thing. Mental health is important to be prioritized by business leaders and also business practitioners. Dr. Isaac, where do you start actually finding a place where you incorporate this in the culture of a business?
So absolutely, I think that mental health should form part of the integral DNA of every company. Integrating it into the health, it has to be loud on the health aspect of every company's HSC, health, safety, and environment framework. What do I mean by that? Making sure that there are routine occupational health programs, awareness, screenings, building what we refer to as psychological safety, where employees have the feeling and are comfortable to be able to speak out without feeling stigmatized. This is very important, especially in Africa, where some cultural settings tends to stigmatize mental health issues. Workplace balance cannot be overestimated. Companies need to be able to arrange or have flexible working arrangements and adequate periods of rest for employees, and more so to make sure that employees that have more stressful jobs have intermittent breaks. And all this can occur with leadership commitment. Leaders need training to be able to appreciate and communicate very well to employees. Leadership empathy is also very key to be able to project that support for their employees as well.
So, Dr. Isaac, of course, it is a business after all. So it can't just be about the well-being of the employees, but I'm sure this has an effect as well, or an impact on, the well-being of the organization as well. So do you know what, some of that impact can be, and perhaps maybe even the positive impact of these organizations making mental well-being a strategic business imperative within their organizations?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there is a direct consequence on business continuity. There, we've seen direct correlations between burnouts and absenteeism, stress with presenteeism, workplace incidents, and there is a lot of evidence that and studies that have shown that where there is good organization well-being and mental health support, companies have been able to retain staff up to about 77%, and as well as ensure that staff reduce absenteeism rate by almost 56%. And this translates directly to productivity. So there's a lot of evidence on return on investment for organizations when they implement very prudent mental health policies in their workplace.
Mm. And some would say, hey, is it only just about the responsibility of the business itself? What's the employee's responsibility here?
Yes, like I always say, it's your health. It's also a private matter. You need to be the CEO of your own personal health. You need to be able to appreciate and know what your limits are, creating boundaries, being able to open up to your immediate line managers if there are challenges. And that's why psychology safety at workplace is very important so that people can voice out freely. So you need to know yourself. You need to be able to raise up the hand and reach out to your line manager to say, well, these are the challenges. Can we have a conversation? What are the supports that are available in the organization? Take advantage of it. Most organizations have instituted employee workplace programs that employees are not really making use of. We encourage people to make use of these tools that have been put in place for them. And more importantly, everyone is vulnerable to mental health. It's not limited to only a selected group of people. So we are all vulnerable. We all need to take the responsibility. We all need to reach out and request for help.
Absolutely. Where can we go, Dr. Akonko, to read this report, the International SOS report for 2025?
It's available on our website. And then if you reach out to any of our companies in terms of regional and country offices, we spread globally. We will be able to share this reports with you. We usually share it yearly with our clients. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Doctor. That was such a remarkable representation presentation from you. Thank you for giving us your time. And keep doing the great work. I think this is fantastic.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
That's Dr. Isaac Akonko, who is a medical director of Central Africa at International SOS. What a wonderful report there, showing the responsibilities that enterprises or businesses have in centering wellness in the workplace, but specifically when it comes to mental wellness.